All right, let's talk about one of the most respected credentials you can get in the business world, the Project Management Professional Certification. You've probably heard it called the PMP. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down exactly what it is, who it's for, and what it really takes to earn those 3 little letters after your name.
So, maybe you're at that point in your career where you're thinking, okay, what's next? How do I make that big leap? You know the PMP is out there, but you're probably wondering, is it actually worth all the hype? Is it worth the effort? Well, stick around, because we're about to answer that.
Let's just start with a number that usually gets people's attention, 33%. So, what's that all about? Well, according to the Project Management Institute, you'll hear me call them PMI, that is the average median salary bump that people report after they get PMP certified. Yeah, it's a pretty compelling reason to pay attention. Okay, so a bigger paycheck is great, but what's really in it for you? What's the actual value here? In this first part, we're going to dive into all the benefits of becoming a PMP, from your salary all the way to your job security. And that 33% isn't just some abstract number. It really hits home when you look at the actual salary figures. For instance, in the U.S., PMI's own survey shows the median salary for someone with a PMP is around $120,000. That gap you see there, it proves that employers don't just see the letters. They're actively paying a premium for the skills and the expertise that the certification represents.
And this isn't just about what you can earn today. It's about future-proofing your career. PNI's research is projecting that by 2027, the world is going to need almost 88 million people working in project management roles. That is a massive number. It shows this is a fundamental shift in the economy, and having a PMP basically puts you in the express lane for those jobs.
All right, so the why is pretty compelling. The money's there, the demand is huge, but that naturally leads to the next big question. Okay, that's great, but can I even get one? Let's find out, because PMI has some very strict, very specific requirements you have to meet before you can even think about applying.
Okay, so there are basically 2 main paths to get there, and it all comes down to your level of education. If you've got a 4-year bachelor's degree, you need to prove you have 36 months. That's 3 years of experience leading projects. If you have a high school diploma or an associate's degree, that requirement jumps up to 60 months, which is 5 years of experience. And notice, the one thing both paths have in common? You need 35 hours of project management training no matter what.
Now here's a really critical detail, a real gotcha you need to know when you're counting up all that experience. PMI says it has to be non-overlapping. So let's say you were a superstar, juggling Project A and Project B at the same exact time from February through April. That counts as 3 months of experience, not 6. This is a huge reason why you've got to be super careful when you log your project hours for your application. So, once you've done the math and you know you qualify, it's time to actually tackle the application itself. This is where you officially lay out your case to PMI. And, yep, we're also going to talk about that big scary thing everyone whispers about, the audit.
So, what's this roadmap look like? It's pretty straightforward, really. First, you hop on PMI's website and make an account. Then you fill out the online application, which is where you'll detail all that experience we just talked about. After that, you pay the fee. And hey, here's a pro tip. Look at that price difference. Becoming a PMI member first practically pays for itself with the discount you get on the exam. Once you're approved, it's game on for the final steps.
Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room. The big question. What if I get audited? I can almost feel the collective anxiety just thinking about it. But look, it's a real thing, but it's not something to panic about. It's totally random, and it's just PMI's way of doing quality control. If you've been honest on your application, it's really just a paperwork drill.
Seriously, it's all about verification. If your application gets flagged for an audit, they'll give you 90 days to send in the proof. And that proof is pretty simple. A copy of your degree or diploma, the certificate from your 35 hours of training, and, this is the big one, signatures from your managers or colleagues who can vouch for the project experience you claimed. See, it's just about proving what you already told them. All right, you've navigated the application, you've stared down the possibility of an audit. Now, it's all about the main event, the PMP exam. This is the final boss. It's the ultimate test of your knowledge and, more importantly, your ability to apply what you know to real-world situations.
The exam is broken down into 3 big domains:
Now, process, that's the technical stuff. The nuts and bolts of project management. That makes up half the exam. But look at this. The second biggest piece, at 42%, is people. This is huge. It shows that the industry now believes that leading your team, managing stakeholders, and resolving conflict, that's almost as important as your schedules and budgets. The last little slice, business environment, just make sure you can connect your project to the company's bigger goals.
So, how in the world do you know when you're actually ready to pull the trigger and schedule your test? Well, the PMP guru Cornelius Fixner has this really simple, practical benchmark. He says if you're taking good quality practice exams and you're consistently scoring an 85% or higher, that's a really strong sign that you're ready for the real deal.
Passing that exam is a massive, massive accomplishment. But believe it or not, the journey doesn't end there. Getting certified is just the beginning. So let's look at what happens next and how you keep that hard-earned credential active.
You know, let's just take a moment and savor this. You hit submit on that long exam, and this message pops up on the screen. It's official. You are a PMP. You've joined this global club of over 1 million pros. But, as they say, with great certification comes great responsibility.
To keep your PMP status, you have to earn what are called Professional Development Units, or PDUs. The best way to think of them is like this. They're the currency of continuous learning. Each PDU is equal to 1 hour you spend doing things like taking a class, going to a webinar, volunteering, or even teaching others about project management.
Over your 3 years certification cycle, you need to rack up 60 of these PDUs. And here's the breakdown. At least 35 of them have to come from education. And you'll notice PMI is pretty specific here. They have to be spread across what they call the talent triangle. That means at least 8 hours in technical skills, 8 in leadership, and 8 in strategic and business thinking. The rest, up to 25, can come from giving back, cool stuff like volunteering or mentoring. It's a whole system just designed to make sure you stay sharp.
And that really brings us to the whole point of this entire thing. Earning your PMP isn't just about getting a new line on your resume. It's proof, it's validation that you know how to lead, how to execute, and how to deliver real value. So once you have that recognition, the only question left to ask yourself is, what are you going to lead next?